Have you ever looked back at a really tough time in your life? A moment you thought might just break you. And then you kind of wonder, wow, how did I actually get through that?
Hmm.
It's a feeling lots of us have had.
Right.
Well, that exact question and the amazing strength it points to, that's what we're digging into today. We're doing a deep dive based on that lessons learned YouTube video you shared with us.
Hmm.
We want to unpack these 8 real-life experiences, not, movie stuff, but the everyday, gritty challenges that really forge what the source calls unbreakable resilience.
That's a great way to put it. Think of life as your personal trainer. Well, these experiences we're about to discuss, they're like the absolute hardest workouts. Our aim here really is for you listening to maybe see your own strength in a new way, or perhaps get some perspective on what you might be going through right now. We're really exploring the insights from the material you brought.
Okay, so let's dive into the first one. Major setbacks. I think most people can relate to that sort of gut punch feeling, right? The source really emphasizes how key these moments are for resilience. But honestly, when you're feeling totally crushed, like, say, losing a job you loved, poured everything into, or maybe a business collapsing, how do you even start to find that resilience the source talks about? It feels impossible at first.
That's such a critical question because, yeah, the initial hit is devastating. But the interesting thing, and the video points this out clearly, is that resilience isn't just there. It doesn't magically appear. It really comes from the act of getting back up. It often starts with really small steps, like maybe just updating your resume or making one phone call you've been dreading. The insight isn't just that failure doesn't define you, though that's true. It's that you're forced to adapt, to problem solve. You start focusing less on the external thing you lost and more on your own internal ability to cope, to figure things out. That's a much stronger foundation.
That really resonates. And something I found really powerful in the material was how this changes your relationship with failure itself. It's not just that you fear it less.
Right.
It's that you kind of redefine it. You faced this thing that felt like the absolute worst, and you're still here. You adapted. You found a new way. That's not just strength. It's this priceless resilience.
Exactly. The magic of a real comeback.
Okay, let's shift from external setbacks to something that really changes your inner world. Moving somewhere totally new. And we're not just talking across town. Think like a new city, new state, maybe even a different country. It's a complete reset. Everything familiar is gone. Your routine, your friends, even where you get coffee.
Yeah.
You're suddenly a beginner again, just trying to figure out the basics, like where do I buy milk? What makes this so formative?
It's that very loss of the familiar, just like the source mentions. It's humbling, definitely, and often really lonely at first. It pushes you way outside your comfort zone. You absolutely have to rely on yourself. And every little win, finding your way somewhere, making one new connection, those aren't small things. They build your confidence piece by piece.
Yeah.
You essentially have to build your own support system from scratch. You learn to trust your gut, figure out what's real fear and what's just anxiety. That's a skill you can use anywhere, in any situation.
So the big shift is learning to trust your own instincts more deeply.
Mm-hmm.
You adapt faster. And home becomes less about a place and more about something you create inside yourself.
Precise.
The person who comes through that is definitely more independent, more open-minded, and yeah, way more resilient. That fear of the unknown, it kind of fades because you've lived in it. You know you can land on your feet.
It's a really powerful kind of self-sufficiency, a quiet confidence.
Okay, let's gently move to the third experience. This one's heavy, losing someone close. It's profound, overwhelming. So personal. And like the source says, there's just no roadmap for grief.
Yeah.
You often feel like the world's just carrying on, but yours is completely stopped.
That's the really difficult paradox, isn't it? The world moves on, but your internal clock just pauses. And the truth is, as the material highlights, you don't really get over it. That phrase doesn't quite fit. It's more like you learn to carry it with you. It's an active thing, learning to integrate that loss. And over time, you do find you get stronger, not because the grief shrinks, but because you grow around it. And you realize, maybe slowly, that moments of joy can coexist with the sadness, and that living your life fully is actually a way to honor their memory.
Yeah.
Grief changes you forever, and that change itself builds a very deep, often quiet resilience.
Right. Okay, number 4. This one sounds simple, but wow, is that hard sometimes? Standing up for yourself. This source points this out so well. That feeling of terror when you need to say no or speak your mind, set a boundary.
Oh, absolutely.
It's intense. We're often taught, keep the peace, don't rock the boat.
Yeah.
But the video argues quite strongly that each time you silence yourself, you lose a little bit of yourself. What's the turning point there?
The turning point, I think, as the material suggests, is realizing your voice actually does matter and that your needs are valid. The first time you do it, stand up for yourself. Your heart is probably pounding. You might feel sick,
Totally.
but you do it. And then the world doesn't grumble. And maybe the next time it's still hard, but it's a tiny bit easier. This isn't about becoming arrogant or aggressive. It's about building genuine self-respect, learning to handle disagreements with clarity, but also kindness.
Right.
Protecting your own inner space, your boundaries.
Yeah.
That's a vital form of resilience, non-negotiable, really.
And the end result is feeling like your own approval matters most.
Exactly.
You feel more in control, like you're driving your own life, not just reacting. That's huge. Okay, next up. Surviving a toxic relationship. The source calls this a battle for your soul, which feels intense, but accurate sometimes. Could be romantic, family, even a friendship. These relationships just drain you. They chip away at your self-esteem, make you doubt everything. How do you even start rebuilding after something like that?
Well, leaving is the first step, and it's often terrifying. Like the video says, it's really an act of self-preservation. You might face loneliness, maybe even judgment from people who don't understand. But after you're out, that's when the resilience building really starts.
Right.
During the recovery. It's not just about spotting red flags next time, though that's part of it. It's more about rediscovering who you are, remembering what you liked, what you valued before that relationship, doing things you love again. Building strong boundaries becomes crucial. Learning to trust your gut again. You become fiercely protective of your peace, and rightly so.
And what's really amazing is the outcome. You gain this unbreakable sense of self-worth.
Yes.
You learn, really learn, that you're whole on your own. You don't need someone else to complete you.
Absolutely.
Those scars, they're not signs of weakness. They're proof you fought and won. You reclaimed yourself.
It's incredibly life-changing strength. Truly transformative.
Let's talk about facing financial hardship. That brings a unique kind of stress, doesn't it? That constant worry, stretching every penny, making really tough choices, feeling kind of alone in it all.
It really does.
What does the source material say this teaches us beyond just being careful with money?
Well, what's interesting, according to the video, is how it forces resourcefulness, ingenuity. You have to get creative. You learn to make do. And sometimes you find real joy in simple things that cost nothing.
Yes.
You might discover skills you never knew you had. Budgeting, fixing things, cooking differently. But maybe more importantly, it can really shift your perspective on what actually matters. You realize it's the relationships, the experiences, your own inner strength, not just stuff. And just getting through it day by day builds incredible grit, patience, humility too, and gratitude for small things.
So coming out the other side, you value stability differently.
Definitely.
And there's this deep knowledge that you can survive on less, that your value isn't tied to your bank account.
Exactly. It's understanding your worth is intrinsic. It's the art of making do and the strength that comes from that.
Okay, number 7 in the sources list is facing a serious illness or injury. It feels like a battle on multiple fronts, right? Your body feels like it's betraying you somehow. And the whole process can be incredibly isolating.
Yeah.
So much uncertainty.
It truly is. And in that fight, as the source points out, you often have to become your own strongest advocate really quickly. You're navigating doctors, treatments, this whole complex medical world. And you learn patience on a whole new level. Patience with the system, patience with healing, patience with your own body. There's often this process of redefining your relationship with your body, moving towards acceptance, adaptation, even when it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And those small victories, maybe walking a little further today or a day with less pain, they become enormous. They're huge markers of progress.
And the mental toughness that builds, it's extraordinary. You gain this deep appreciation for just being healthy, for life itself.
Right.
You really learn not to sweat the small stuff because you've had to deal with the really big stuff.
That's it, exactly. The resilience here, as the material really stresses, isn't about avoiding the fall. It's all about how you rise again and again.
And finally, the 8th experience, being responsible for others.
Yeah.
This could be being a parent, a caregiver for a loved one, maybe a leader at work. Suddenly, your needs just aren't the top priority anymore. Every choice impacts someone else. And yeah, it can be completely exhausting.
Utterly.
But the source suggests this builds incredible resilience. How does that work?
It's fascinating, actually. This kind of responsibility often unlocks a fierce, selfless kind of love or dedication you didn't know you had. You find energy you didn't think was possible, bravery you wouldn't have imagined for yourself.
Right.
You become incredibly efficient. You have to be. You become resilient because you don't have a choice sometimes.
Mm.
And deeply compassionate. Little daily hassles, they tend to fade into the background because you're focused on this bigger mission, this other person or people. It fundamentally changes your perspective.
So the strength it builds is maybe quieter, but it's incredibly steady,
Uh,
unwavering.
Very much so.
You learn you're just
Like,
more capable, more selfless than you thought. And
yes.
even if it's often thankless work, it shapes who you are in a really profound way.
Finding purpose in serving others is in itself a deep source of strength and resilience. It's truly transformative.
So there we have it. 8 really tough experiences from that lessons learned video. 8 things that, according to the source, forge this unbreakable resilience. As we talk through them, I really hope you, listening, had a chance to think about your own life. Maybe see some of your own experiences reflected in these categories.
Absolutely. And the core message, I think, is just so powerful. You've survived so much. Whatever your specific challenges have been, you got through them. And that's everything. Just take a moment to acknowledge that strength, the wisdom you've gained. It's proof of who you are right now.
Yeah. And as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about. We've talked about resilience not being about avoiding falls, but how you get back up. So how might actually acknowledging, maybe even celebrating your own unique battles, those quiet victories only you know about, how might that not only empower you, but maybe even inspire someone else going through their own hard time? What are the battles that have shaped your unbreakable strength? We really hope this conversation gave you some fresh perspective, maybe a renewed appreciation for just how resilient you truly are. Thanks so much for joining us today. Until next time, keep digging deep.